we go. Are you ready, me hearties? Okay, Shy, so you said yesterday that you would do pirate voice if we ended up... Oh, I said, sorry, today, wasn't it? You would do pirate voice if we ended up playing this. So...
I mean, briefly.
You briefly said, but... Or you briefly will do pirate voice. Which one?
Yes.
Yes. Good answer. And yes, of course I didn't mute my thing. I didn't think you could hear the keyboard from over there. This is on the laptop. It's all the way...
Typity.
The laptop's all the way over here. This is such a good microphone. I can't help that. I didn't make it, the microphone. I didn't know how sensitive it is.
Terrible streamer.
No, good streamer. Terrible husband.
IDJ wanted to talk with us about putting together a trailer using some of the footage you've been recording this past month. Take your time. I'll meet you by the elevator.
Okay, so we ended up back in the real world briefly. We need to do something here. I think we were going to run around and just like hack all the things. So we've got all the hacking games we can do. So let's do that. Let's see. So just to recap, from what I remember last time we played this before I went for my wedding in May, we got called out into the real world to go have a meeting with somebody. We found out as well on a previous back in the real world situation, we handed some files over to a courier, and it turns out I recognized that the courier and also the person who works on the coffee shop were characters in the previous Assassin's Creed games from the modern day part of the game. Me. Wife is hungry, you will be silent to nom for a bit. Oh, that's just her way of getting out of doing pirate voice for us all. Coughing on audio, sorry. I've got to get quicker at getting to this other mute button. Whoops. And you don't like getting tabbed out too, Sam? Nah, I don't think most people do. So anyway, the guy gave us the ability to hack other terminals, and then we can see what's on those. So I think it might be a good idea to run around and do that for a bit. And then we'll get back into the Animus and have a look around at other stuff. So this hacking minigame was always very weird. Aha! Done. You'll pirate in appropriate circumstances when you've had nutrients. Okay, fair deal. Fair deal. An Antikythera mechanism. I remember something about these. Originally assumed to be an analog computing device built for the purposes of determining the future positions of astral bodies, Abstergo Industries scientists recently discovered that the Antikythera mechanism is merely one small portion of a much larger tool, a so-called prognostication machine, though thought to have been used by the first civilization to make probability-based predictions of future events. It has been confirmed, for instance, that our precursor race used such a device in conjunction with the inherent precognitive abilities to locate and contact Mr. Desmond Miles, the source of Sample 17's strand, for purposes that shall remain classified. It's also known that due to the nature of these quantum probability measurements, that such machines would have been exceedingly difficult to use, and that there may many hundreds or thousands of trials would have been needed to peak such great distances into the future. A mystery that has puzzled scientists for decades, the Baghdad battery's ultimate secret has finally been discovered. This year's researchers at Abstergo Industries determined that these batteries contained at one time a synthetic precursor element capable of producing power by harnessing energy generated by the passage of time. Weird. eerily similar to what theoretical physicists have called time crystals. This unknown crystalline material was able to generate tiny but unlimited levels of energy simply by siphoning energy from the passage of time itself. Though minute, the resulting power was likely enough to power a small LED, resulting in a humble but incredibly efficient means of producing light. To date, a functioning precursor time crystal has not been located. Interesting. And then the blood vials. Oh, this is something we've seen in the game. This is something that, like, we kept a sample of blood in, apparently, from that guy, that oracle that they were tracking down, the sage or whatever his name was. Little is known about the function of these blood vials, though dozens have been found since Abstergo took an interest in the recovery at some point in the late 1980s. To date, only 3 have been found with the original contents intact, and of these, only 1 contained a confirmed sample of precursor DNA. Abstergo Industries executives have expressed particular interest in locating more precursor DNA and, if possible, samples of our so-called mitochondrial Eve. Interesting. As far as fetched as this sounds, please take special care to identify any vials you might stumble onto in a memory replay. So that's what we were doing earlier. Unfortunately, as the average half-life of DNA is a mere 500 years, any sample old enough to belong to either source 80,000 years or more will have degraded well beyond usefulness. We suspect it would require a minimum of over 250 similarly preserved samples and a heck of a lot of luck to sequence an entire precursor genome, though the true figure is probably close to 500. Don't forget to use frog DNA as well. You know, that's very useful for patching the gaps, I'm told. The Crystal Skull. Oh, that's a terrible, terrible Indiana Jones movie. These ancient tools have been found on a few separate occasions at alleged precursor sites throughout the world. All are communication devices to some degree, although 3 distinct varieties have been discovered so far. The first Crystal Skull worked much like a mobile telephone device we use today. These allowed multi-node communication between all who possessed a working device. A second Crystal Skull was later discovered to have a record and playback function, meaning a user could record and send audio-visual messages to multiple parties as frequently as they saw fit. A third set of Crystal Skulls discovered only recently seemed to have acted as a passive monitoring device, much like televisions in a multi-camera surveillance system setup. As yet, the cameras on the opposite end of this setup have not yet been found. It's unclear why these communication devices were designed to resemble such a macabre piece of anatomy. I was wondering the same thing. It's like, why make it a skull? We made a square that you look at, a screen, a television screen. They were like, no, make it a skull. Apparently the precursors were goths. So, yeah. Anyway, we have no reason to suspect that our precursor race, as intelligent as they were, didn't occasionally fall victim to gaudy fashion. So, memory seals. I think I remember seeing one of these in the previous game. These devices, powerful in function but limited in scope, were used by the precursor First Civilization to record brief memory impressions which could then be played back or re-experienced by another user at a later date. Judging by their scarcity, fewer than 40 have been found or accounted for. It appears that these seals were not wielded casually as a precursor race, but were intended for use by the wealthiest and most powerful members of that society. To date, no seals containing recorded precursor memories have been found, and only a few have been known to contain any information whatsoever. The seals used by the assassin Altair ibn Lahad to pass memory information to Ezio Auditore da Firenze, that's the guy from the second game, are suspected to be functioning to this day. I don't remember him passing messages to Ezio through these things. Interesting. Might have to go back and replay them. So, as a point of interest, it can be revealed that many of Abstergo's early breakthroughs in genetic memory technology came about through close study of these artifacts, although current Animus technology is not based on their architecture. and the Voynich manuscript. A fascinating puzzle as yet unsolved, deeply interested in finding a person or persons responsible for the creation of this magnificent and mystifying tome. All researchers assigned to European subjects living in the 15th and 16th centuries should be advised to pay special heed to any mention of this rare valuable artifact. Though recent carbon dating has given the manuscript a birth date of 1405 or thereabouts, Abstergo Industries has uncovered highly classified information that complicates this theory greatly. One subject of great interest to us in this endeavour is the English philosopher Roger Bacon. Bacon. Look at this. This guy just left pizza. Who just leaves pizza in the office? That's mine now. I want to eat it. Is there a button to eat? There isn't. If you leave pizza unattended in an open plan office, it's fair game. It's just how it goes. Can we get into any of these terminals here? Not this one. That guy's using it. That's the first time I think I've seen somebody actually sitting at one of these terminals using it. I also really hate the layout of this office design. It's terrible.
Yeah, just like riot police, grabbing people's IDs.
They checked mine 3 times between the parking garage and my desk.
Ooh.
I wish I could say this.
Yeah, this office is very confusing to get around. You get turned around easy because everything's circles. Can we hack this one? Yeah. Okay, I did it in 4 moves. Brilliant. Does this game usually have subtitles? Yeah, it usually does. I wonder if maybe just for ambient dialogue like that, it doesn't have it. I'll double check the settings though in a moment. Oliver, here's the initial presentation I received. It's a little light on facts, but these guys know what they're doing. We'll know more when they arrive on Monday. Let me know if you feel like attending. John. So, oh, it's Olivia, not Oliver. Olivia, here's the initial present. Oh, that's the same. Bloom presented to Abstergo. Hang on a minute. I remember there was a corporation in the Watch Dogs series of games that was called Bloom. Is that the same guys? Are they trying to I'd never noticed this before. Okay. Why now? Why wait? Why Bloom? As the world's foremost innovator of high-tech, high-performance communications and security technology, Bloom stands poised to reshape the way we think about information security architecture, or ASI. Oh, he's probably cringing really badly. He's cringed in on himself. Like, that's how much he's cringed. He's just folded up as one big cringe. Specializing in everything from mobile telephony to home computing, digital imaging processing, and to network security systems, take great pride in the fact that we help create most of the markets we now dominate. And nowhere is our expertise more apparent than in our flagship project, CTOS. This is a Watch Dogs tie-in reference. God, that's probably even a screenshot from Watch Dogs. Speaking of which, Watch Dogs 2 is on my list of games to play for the channel. The first one was hot garbage. The second one, though, apparently was good, so we'll play that. Oh my god, yeah. So this is basically like saying, yes, Bloom Security and Abstergo Entertainment are in bed together. Dozens of cities, 100 corporations, 1,000 small businesses. For almost a decade, CTOS has served its clients with a need to track record unparalleled in the modern age. How do we do it? Durable, ultra-light HD cameras. Why does it matter how light the cameras are? I suppose unless you're carrying them. Ultra-speed fiber optic networking, proprietary facial recognition software, multiple fail-safes in data centers, cloud computable intelligence sharing, 24-hour customer support and service. Basically, these guys are Big Brother, you know. Interesting. I don't know why I never cottoned on to that, because I mean, I would have played this game before I played Watch Dogs. That's my... Yeah, I get turned around so easily in this place. I suppose as well, having a field of view like this doesn't really help. Okay, that's in use. Oh, another QR code. That's another sticky note. Since they're all out of sequence, we'll read those when we've got them all. There's nothing over here. Can I go through here? No, that's level 2 security access. I don't have that yet. I will eventually get access to that kind of stuff. That's also in use. Another QR code.
Like to what?
So that's that one grabbed. Did I hack all of these? I don't think I did I? No, I didn't.
Be careful now. As the data moves, there are security programs constantly monitoring the data flow. You need to sneak past them, or they will destroy your data and send it back home.
Yeah, so we're basically playing Frogger.
Okay, I'm back.
Hey, welcome back.
Nommed. And my internet crashed while I was eating, so, you know, that was a thing.
Excellent.
Yeah. Must be that watchdog stuff. They're like, nope.
I have now resumed the practice of dressing as a man.
Too much.
And have put off my woman's dress.
Why did you take it? Who made you take it?
I took it of my own free will, with no constraint. I prefer a man's dress to a woman's.
You made an oath, Jeanne. You swore to never again dress as a man.
I never meant to swear that I would not resume the practice.
Why have you done so?
Because it is more lawful and suitable for me to return to the practice of wearing a man's dress, being always among men, than to have a woman's dress. I have resumed it because a promise made to me has not been kept.
How is he?
Hour 3, doing well.
Are we still in 18th century Hungary?
No. His connection is so stable, he's jumped between a few ancestors today. We're in 15th century France now. Turns out he's related to one of Joan of Arc's executioners.
Surprise.
Eileen, yesterday Vidic asked me to help him work out some of the bugs in his audiovisual renderer, and I told him...
No. Come on, Satish, not you.
It wouldn't be permanent. A few months at most.
Months? That will kill every ounce of momentum we have.
It won't, I promise. Honestly, I think this could help us. If I can get a look at what these people are doing, we could...
Come on. He's trying to pull you over to his side. Don't you see that? He's luring you with quick victory and prestige.
That's not what this is about, honestly.
I need to get back to work.
Eileen, I'm sorry.
Do what you must. I'll survive.
Also, I'm just going to stop it there a second. I've just realised, has this audio reset like the other game? Because, damn, that was loud. Oh, yeah, there it is.
See, but it sounded fine to me.
Really?
Yeah, it was much better than the other game. It was more like yesterday's feed, which was, I mean, quite comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
As far as my headset goes, anyway.
All right. Because I mean,
I don't know. Chat. What do you think? What does chat?
I mean,
think?
I wasn't talking at the same time as well, so it's more about the audio balance because it was peaking up into the red zone on the audio mixer on OBS. So that means it would be overwhelming.
OBS just lies.
Well, let's have a look. Let's see. Let's try this again.
I have now resumed the practice of dressing as a man.
How does that sound?
And have put off my woman's dress.
Why did you take it? Who made you take it?
I took it of my own free will.
I mean, it's not as loud as it was, but it's not as quiet as the other game. As Tacoma was today.
Yeah. I'll leave it at that for now.
You swore to never again dress as a man.
I never meant to swear that I would not resume the practice.
Why have you done
Anyway, I think we're going to not listen to the rest of that for now. Have a look at this guy. Oh. Yep, there we go. I think as well, Shine, because you're on Discord with me, you're hearing my voice, and that's different, two different volume sliders, that versus the stream, whereas for other people it's going to come through as one audio package. So maybe you're getting a bit of a difference in like how they've been adjusted. But anyway. It's the eternal struggle of a Twitch streamer is trying to find the right audio volume for everything.
I don't think so, because yesterday you sounded exactly the same on Discord as you sound today, and only the game was like, oh my god, I can't hear anything, so I have to crank up my my computer volume. Yeah.
Oh well. Audio mixing is weird sometimes.
I mean, I know you've had trouble with your audio always getting reset every time. Windows updates and bullshit like that, so
it's been a few weeks
who knows?
Since the last recording. Sorry about that. Of course, I guess it's just a few seconds for you. I'll leap down the playlist. Anyway, I was talking about Clay. Casmeric, Subject 16. So, when I fell into a coma back in Italy and woke up in the Animus Black Room, it was so calming. It felt like I had woken up into a dream, haze, a dream where none of this mess had ever happened. Felt like I should just be getting ready for another day of pouring drinks at bad weather and another day of complaining about being between girlfriends and wondering what the hell to do with myself. But when I saw Clay just sitting there, it started to come back, you know, piece by piece. And when he told me about Lucy, fuck, you know, it hurt. You know, realizing that I killed her without thinking or feeling anything. Not at the time, anyway. Well, then, things just kept piling on. There were more memories of Ezio and Altair and the First Civilization. And then, right before he vanished, Clay passed on his memories to me. He showed me everything he had seen and lived through, and it was brief, but overwhelming. Not really sure how to explain. He saw glimpses of Adam and Eve and their escape from slavery. He saw the beginning and the end of the war between the first Civ and humans. He saw Minerva, Juno, and Tinia trying to work out their calculations. At least that's what they called them. They had these tools, these powerful machines that could predict possible futures. Not what was going to happen, but what could happen. Probabilities. And, well, they spent a lot of energy trying to figure out what was the most likely scenario for the future. Theirs and ours. And in the end, I guess they figured I was their most likely candidate. Some guy named Desmond living at the beginning of the 21st century of the Common Era. But which Desmond was the right one? Because, you see, probability is a weird thing. It can branch out in so many ways. Which version of me did they need? Was it the Desmond who got married early and had a son? One who stayed single in New York? Or was it the Desmond who moved to San Francisco to be a waiter? Maybe it was the Desmond who worked at an auto body shop in Chicago, or maybe it was the me who never ran away from his parents in the first place. First Civ had countless variations to choose from, but in the end, the lucky one was me. I'm the Desmond their best calculations spit out. I'm the Desmond they left their messages for, and I guess I have to live with that honor. What an honor. Pretty tired. There'll be more later. Ciao.
Yeah, I noticed sometimes there are some typos in this. So, for people wondering what the hell all that is about, that's from like the first few games. Desmond Miles, or Subject 17 as he's referred to by Abstergo, was the character that you played that was like, he was in the modern day, and they were exploring his memories because he was an ancestor, well, one of his ancestors was Altair, one of the first, well, not one of the first assassins now, because the new games have gone back much further, but one of the like key figures in the Assassin's Brotherhood that were fighting against the Templars. And basically at some point along the way, with him escaping Abstergo, trying to find everything he could about how to stop whatever they were up to, they find out that the precursors, with like the ancient Greek gods, if you like, found out the world was going to end in a ball of fire because there was a solar flare was going to happen, and one person was going to be able to stop it, and that was him. By using their probability engines that could peer into the future. And they sent messages to him through the people back in the past by talking to them about this, knowing that future Desmond would see it by being put into the Animus and replaying history through genetic memory. So they actually addressed Desmond in the future by talking to guys like Ezio Auditore in the second game in the past. It's all very, mind-bending and cool. I kind of like how they did that.
That is very cool.
That's when, because when that scene happens at the end of, I think it's Assassin's Creed 2, and Ezio's there, or maybe it was Brotherhood, and Ezio's like in this ancient catacomb. He's found this alien like chamber. It's underneath the Vatican, and and they're talking, but they're not talking to him. They're talking over his shoulder and looking at the camera, like, as though it's you. And he's like, what are you guys talking about? And they're like, silence, your part's done here now. This isn't for you. And then they turn back and look at the camera again and keep talking, and you're like, oh shit. They're talking to me. It's me they want to speak to. And I'm like, I like this. They take the whole meta aspect of like being the player of a game,
Yeah. The whole exploring probability thing, I don't know, I was just going to be like, oh my god, they're all Doctor Strange.
Yes, they looked at 14 billion and 601 whatever futures and found only one. Did they all survive?
Well, no, not everyone survived in that reality, but they did win.
Yes, they would win only one.
Yeah, that was the best one.
Where's the terminal that I'm supposed to use?
Filed it with HR.
Oh my god. Oh, we need to go to the thing, that's right. I was going to go back in the Animus.
Over here. So Sam, first it came out mostly as Oliver, and then there was Olivier.
Yeah.
And it stayed mostly as Olivier instead of Olivier.
I just watched some of your footage from this
Mansplaining to your wife what drain cleaner is awful stuff.
I got so excited that we started talking about this idea for a trailer about him. Maybe start with him drinking, talking to some pirates, telling a story. Then we cut to him leaping across the deck of his boat.
Like seriously, awful stuff.
But jumping around the deck of his ship, swinging from ropes and fighting like a devil. I mean, obviously we're gonna have to manipulate some of the existing footage to get it looking good, but it could be great. I'm getting a shiver in my timbers just thinking about it. Sorry.
So what she's just described there as well, where they're talking about, like, because they're trying to make this into a video game and we're researching genetic memory, and I'll just pause it real quick while I explain this. The first sneak preview trailer that Ubisoft put out there of the gameplay of Assassin's Creed Black Flag was exactly what she just described, and she was like, I was thinking about how we could promote this game and put the trailer out there, and it starts with him telling a story in a bar, and then he's sneaking through and then jumping off from one ship to another, swinging on ropes and fighting people. Those are scenes from the actual sneak peek that they showed, which is really cool. I like that. That is so good.
Breaking their own fourth wall, in a sense.
Pretty much.
We're not late. No, you can go right.
Hi, Melanie. I saw you just walked in. I need a few minutes with you alone. Laetitia is on the phone and we're discussing the Kenway project.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry about this. I'll call you when we're ready.
Okay, so we have to wait.
Shouldn't be long.